So I did a lot of stuff trying to get into that school, and now I don't even go there. Back into the pencil and like holding it together. You should, and you should start those early. I personally didn't. I started mine the week before they were due. Today I'm filming my high school stats video. Let me know what you guys think of this background compared to my normal background at home. I like it better. There used to be a cheese poster like right there, but then it fell down while I was at college and my Roomba ate it. Our family Roomba ate the poster. My Roomba was just like, dinner served guys, let's eat this. So yeah, love Roombas for that. So one of my favorite videos on this channel that's like college related is my giving advice for UCSC freshmen while eating spicy noodles with my friends video, and that's probably just because I filmed it with my friends and I love filming with them, but we were also eating spicy noodles, which is another popular thing on YouTube. So I thought for this video I would paint my Hydro Flask. Shout out to my friends with Rico for getting me this for Christmas because I would never spend so much on a water bottle. I don't even drink water, but I drank 2 full of these yesterday, so maybe she's a changed girl for 2020. I don't know if this is a popular trend or this is just popular on TikTok, but I thought we could do that while we do this so it's a little less awkward for me, and we're doing, and then so yay! But yeah, let's get started, shall we? I feel like such a visco girl with the kink in the backpack and this. First I want to start with a quick disclaimer. The reason I've been putting off to filming this video is just because I feel like if I just told you guys my SAT and told you my GPA, it would not help anyone. You would just end up comparing and there'd be a lot of judgment, which is why I'm not going to be saying my exact SAT and GPA, but I'm hoping this video can still help and give you an idea of where you sit, if that makes sense. I apologize if you were looking to see my exact stuff. Sorry. Starting off with the basic stats, I'm a California resident for the past, I think I came in 2014, so do the math, 6 years roughly. Since I'm not a born American citizen, I've just been living in California for 6 years. A lot of schools considered me out of state when I got accepted, or like before I got accepted, they asked for a bunch of visa supplementary info, and then I'd have to like prove my residency of being in state, which is kind of weird because they do have a rule for residency that if you're living in California for 4 years, you're supposed to be considered in state, but there is like certain things on certain visas are considered in state. Ethnicity wise, I'm Asian, specifically Indian. My high school wasn't really competitive, and I think that's something to keep in account because it's something people don't mention, but I do think certain schools, like it is harder to get into colleges just because like the dynamic of the school, which is really messed up, and I think it's something that the UCs and CSUs need to improve in their acceptance process because I don't think it's fair, but that's something to keep in account. And then I'm not a first-gen college student, and I applied to every single school for computer science except for UC Santa Cruz, where I applied for computer science game design, and San Jose State, where I applied for software engineering. I kind of do want to explain myself on some of these because like, you know, just to like help y'all out if you're in a similar situation like me. In high school, I was really interested. I think the top 2 things that I really loved in high school and I was debating on going into, but like wasn't really sure, was graphic design and psychology. And then towards senior year, I started applying to schools and my dad was like, well, you don't really know what you want to do yet. And I was like, yeah. He's like, well, you could always major in something tech related because you can basically do anything with it. And Khan Academy has this series on animation where they talk about how like you need to know like physics and CS and like things like that. And so that's kind of what pushed me to major in CS because I was like, I can still go in animation with this. Like I can still work for Disney one day, which was kind of my goal at the time. And so I switched into AP CS principles, and then I applied to all my schools for CS, not realizing how impacted a major it was and how little experience I had in it. But you know, you live and you learn. I did what I did, and now I have a minor in CS, so it's not even like I don't do, and I do think tech is super important and we need more girls in STEM and more girls in CS specifically. But that's kind of my story with my major. I applied to game design for Santa Cruz because I'd heard the program before and I figured game design is kind of related to animation, and then software engineering to SJSU because I'd heard that computer science at SJSU was super hard and like it's a similar program, same thing, and so that's why I did that. And fun fact, all throughout high school or like senior year of high school and like what applying season, my main goal school was San Jose State. So I did a lot of stuff trying to get into that school, and now I don't even go there. So now that the basic stuff is out of the way, I'll tell you all the schools I applied to. But for my reach schools, I applied to all the UCs except Merced. For my like just right schools, I applied to San Jose State, Cali Cal Poly, Pomona, SLO, and San Diego State. I would consider SLO kind of low-key reach and schools like Riverside to be like just right, but that was like the rough thing. And then for my safeties, I applied to San Francisco State, East Bay, and Sonoma. The process got closer and closer, and it came closer and closer to me actually having to leave for college. I realized that I didn't want to go that far from home. I actually never finished my application for San Francisco State and East Bay. It asked me for supplementary info related to my residency to decide if I was in state or not, and I never sent it, which caused my application to be withdrawn because I realized that I wasn't really interested in East Bay or San Francisco State. I was kind of just applying to them because I was like, oh, well, at least if I don't go anywhere, I can go there. But I much rather just go to community college and transfer to a different school. I'm gonna get into my class load now. So I'm gonna put the Hydro Flask down while I explain this because I have to look at my phone. Freshman year of high school is when I moved from Canada to California, and on top of like moving countries, which was already a lot my freshman year, I ended up moving in like mid-October-ish because I had missed like 2 months of school in California because they start in early August versus in Canada they start in September. So my workload was very basic, and I also had the lowest grades I had of all of high school this year. I didn't take bio, I took IPS because they didn't want me switching to bio because I wouldn't get proper like bio credits, or like I wouldn't get proper lab credits, so they were like, just take it next year. And I don't know. There was a lot my first 2 years that I had to like adjust. Besides that, it was a normal schedule, my lowest grades of high school, not that great grades, and I took no language. I took my first language the year after. I moved again my sophomore year, and I purposely gave myself an easier load just because I was like, I want to get my GPA up and get into the groove of things. And so I took no APs or honors, a pretty standard load. This was my highest GPA of high school. I'm pretty sure I had a 4.0 one of the semesters, and the other semester had like a 3.8 or 3.9. Like, it was okay. Junior year, I took 2 APs. I took AP Psych, AP Lang, which I loved both. And then I took honors chem and honors math. So I took 2 honors and 2 APs. And so I had a good-ish GPA senior year. So senior year, I took 3 APs. I didn't take any honors. Honors were not really offered to seniors, but I took AP Gov, normal econ, which was an offer in my school, which I know is pretty random. Like, a lot of schools don't offer that. AP CS Principles, because that was the only AP CS class that my school offered at this time. I'm an AP Calc AB, and my GPA was, it definitely fell from junior year first semester, but it really fell second semester. That's when I was like, we out of here, let's head out. Yeah, so that's the course load I took. You should not be taking courses to get into schools. You should be taking courses because you think you can handle them. Like, when I took AP Lang and AP Psych junior year, I was generally interested in both classes and I loved both of them, so I'm glad I did that. But then senior year, I was taking AP Calc just because everyone else was, and I really think I shouldn't have because I was not ready for the class. Yeah, that's just something to keep in mind. So the UCs and CSUs both do this thing where they post the average scores of SATs, ACTs, essays, and like the SAT essay and your GPA that they accept into their school. It's called the Santa Cruz Freshman Admit Data. And so the average GPA is between a 3.76 and a 4.16. And I would say my GPA was about smack in the middle of that. Obviously your GPA is not your actual high school GPA, but your UC GPA. I'm pretty sure this is what that's accepting because I remember we all calculated our UC GPAs. My UC GPA was pretty good, being that sophomore and junior year were my peak of high school. I feel like I'm gloating by saying these things, but like I'm just trying to be honest about how I feel. I took the ACT once, but I don't think I sent it anywhere just because I did really bad because I was really sick and I didn't properly study for it. And then for the SAT, my reading was on the higher end of the average, but the average is 590 to 690, and the mathematics was 610 to 760, and mine was on the lower side. And then the essay was 14, 16, 17. I'm pretty sure mine was like right in the middle. I'm gonna talk about the SAT real quick for a second, just because we went through a lot together. Another story that if you don't want to hear, you can skip. So the first one, it was fine. I just really hadn't studied. The second one, so I went to take the SAT and I only brought 1 pencil. I'm an idiot, we know this. And so 10 minutes into the reading section, the first section of the SAT, my pencil breaks and I freak out because I'm on question 4 or something like that. And I'm like, what do I do? So I'm really like, I don't like talking to like professional people, but I'm like, there's nothing I can do in this moment. I have to call the proctor. So I call the proctor over and I'm like, hey, my pencil broke. What can I do? Like, I don't know what to do. And she's like, there's nothing you can do. You didn't bring a backup pencil. I asked everyone to get up and sharpen their pencils. I don't have extra pencils for you. And I was like freaking out. So I ended up taking the pencil lead that came out from my broken pencil, putting it back into the pencil and like holding it together so I could like bubble in the entire reading section. If that is not a joke, I don't know what is. Such a disaster. And then we had our first break and I was able to like call my friends because me and my friends were taking that essay together, and I was like, hey, do you guys have an extra pencil? And they gave me one, so I was able to get through the rest of the day. So we do a cloud right here, bro, right here. Okay, right here. We're doing one right here. Third time taking it. The last time I was supposed to take it, 10 or 15 minutes in to the reading section again. Me in the reading section, there's something had to go wrong. The fire alarm for the school starts going off, and it's a Saturday, so like no one's in the school besides SAT test takers. So we're just kind of like, okay, and we're just kind of trying to like work through it. But then at one point they're like, okay, what if it's a real fire? So they evacuate us, and we all get evacuated to like this big quad where all the other SAT students are. We're all like, what is happening? And we were like evacuated for like 15-20 minutes, and it was like a false alarm. Someone came and pulled the alarm, but we were all just like standing there in the cold because it was like November, I think. Great. And then after, when we got back in, my proctor didn't know what to do, so they didn't give us back time. Technically we had missed 15 minutes of the time for that section, but they didn't account for it, and we had to just continue. And so I remember being like super triggered about that, and then like a bunch of us ended up emailing, and they ended up letting us retake it. Those were my fun SAT stories. Honestly, okay, so now I'm going to talk, I labeled this on my phone as what's actually relevant. Something that's important if you're applying to a CSU would be your impactation score. That can help you figure out like what are your chances of getting in for different majors. I remember I did the research for the year before me because like I said, my gold school was San Jose State. As for the UCs, I feel like the one place where you have to stand out and be your own person is in your essays. I've heard rumors that they don't read your essays unless you're in their range of accepted scores, which might be true. So I don't really know what's true and what's not. I do think like if you can just pour your heart into your essays, you should, and you should start those early. I personally didn't. I started mine the week before they were due. I think my essays were okay. I don't know if they were anything special. I followed like a pretty basic guideline with them that was like, I did this in high school, mentioning a club or something I worked in. I was like, and it helped me grow through this, and here's what I learned in it. And I just talked about like what I learned in it, any hardships I faced. I talked about moving to California in one of my essays. I talked about my clubs and like ASB stuff I did for the most part, and like what I learned through it. I know I wrote one whole essay about kindness and like giving back, and I don't know what the purpose of that was, because I don't know if you're supposed to do that, but I did that. I don't know. I was just very passionate about it in the moment, and no one told me it was bad. I made a lot of people read my essays. I do recommend going early and getting teachers to read your essays because I mean, they see them every year, so they can really help you. As many people as possible to read your essays so you get as much feedback as possible. I tried to be honest in mine. I started so late because I was watching so many videos on essays. I was so overwhelmed that I didn't know where to start. And I was kind of like, oh, like, I don't really feel comfortable spilling my heart out to an acceptance officer. But you kind of have to, because you're really just pleading for a spot in their school. So you have to pretend that this is like your best friend you're pleading your heart to, but like professional best friend. I had a couple of main extracurriculars, but there was only a couple of things that I had like positions in, and I tried to play up on those and kind of put to the side the things that didn't show growth in. I was ASB academics chair, so like we had different positions within ASB. There's like vice president, there's like rally, spirit, and I was academics. And then I was treasurer of our school's digital art club when it started my sophomore year, and then I went on to vice president my junior year. I didn't mention this because it kind of goes hand in hand with one of my positions, but I did write it as a separate thing on my application because it kind of was a separate duty. But I was also student board representative at our school district. Basically the person who was elected academics commissioner in our leadership program also went to our school board meetings and sat like with the rest of the board as a student representative. And so I attended the meetings, and like, we were supposed to like say anything if it was interested to us and things like that. That's another thing I did. Those were like the three things I was passionate about, so I focused on those. Going on to where I got accepted, where I got rejected, all of that fun stuff. I was waitlisted at UC Riverside and UC Davis. Pretty triggered about the Riverside one just because everyone had told me that Riverside was one of like just right schools, not a reach school. But I never applied to their waitlist, so I don't know if I would have gotten off or not. Those were those decisions. I got declined at San Jose State. They ended up raising their impactation score like by 500 or 600, so I no longer, like I fell by like 5. Everything happens for a reason, so I didn't get in there. And the day I didn't get in there, I actually filmed all my reactions. I'm checking San Jose right now, and it says I don't even know what it says. I'm trying to figure out what it means. Application withdraw, not accommodated? What does that mean? That due to enrollment restrictions and space availability, the application has been withdrawn and will not be reconsidered. So I didn't get into San Jose State, which kind of sucks because it was my first choice, but it's okay. There's other schools. I was like, if I didn't get in there, like there's no way I got in anywhere else. I literally don't know where I'm gonna go. And then that night, Santa Cruz decisions came out, and I was like, okay, like I'm not gonna get in. I didn't even get into San Jose State. But we ended up checking them, and I remember I was like, did I just get into Santa Cruz? 3 unread messages. and it's loading. And it's saying, you have been admitted into UC Santa Cruz? Wait. Yeah. Yes. Is anyone up? I think I just got into UC Santa Cruz. I think so. It says you've been admitted into UC Santa. That makes no sense. Oh no, the heater just turned on. I'm so sorry if you hear that. That's super annoying. Accepted in Sonoma. I was locked out of my San Diego State portal, so I never found out if I got in. I'm assuming I didn't get in, but I got locked out and my parents were like, I mean, you already got into local schools, and so I was focused more on local schools than schools on the like SoCal. So, and then I got rejected at SLO and into Panoma. One thing about Santa Cruz that stuck out was they ended up offering me Chancellor Region, something like that, or grant. I don't remember what it was called. But as I looked into it, I found out that I didn't qualify because the visa I was on considered me in-state. Yeah, so I guess that's everything. I honestly think everything works out for the best in the end. Because I know people who get into Berkeley who don't get into Davis. I personally got into Santa Cruz, but I didn't get into like Riverside. But I honestly think that with the UCs at least, they kind of vibe check you. They kind of just like, is this person gonna fit in our school? Are they not? And they kind of accept based on that. That's just what I believe. That's what I think was true with my application, because I don't think I would have fit in as well in Riverside and Davis as I do in Santa Cruz. Yeah, I hope this video was helpful. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any follow-up questions, comment them down below, and I will see you guys in my next one. Also, here's the finished hydro flask. I just painted clouds. I kind of like it. Bye!